launches on December 9th
D
on
my?
PC and Mac, and on December 14th on console.
Yeah, I don't like
Which
me.
drops are available, so make sure you follow the instructions below in order to claim your Blood Guard wings. Here's what you can expect from today's live stream. We'll start by debuting the trailer for the Forbidden Sanctum, and we'll then do a deep dive. We'll cover the 6
I wanna play dumb right now.
Yeah, no drops here.
some new unique items with massive buffs and rarity adjustments. We'll then
Buffs and rarity adjustments.
briefly cover some balance topics that we have posted articles about recently. Elves, curses, and the replacement of the arch-nemesis monster mod system. Finally, we'll discuss the upcoming release of the optional Ruthless game before touching on some quality of life improvement and the new supporter packs. The livestream concludes with a Q&A session between Ziggy D and me, where we'll answer questions from Twitch chat. Then we'll drop the full patch notes. Let's get started with the trailer for the Forbidden Sanctum.
I wonder why this guy wears white shirts every time. He does that shit every time. Surprising.
Join this game. Join our friend, the legendary
Tabula?
Many have met their fate here in the shade of Fell Shrine. So step lightly. But here you are bound by new rules. My rules. Each step with gold to tempt you. A foe to wound you. A curse to spite you.
Huh?
But do not give up, for vast riches await the bold.
Vast riches, lol.
Pillage this sanctum if you must,
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
and one day you may uncover its secrets.
Huh. Cartoonish show? Oh my god, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? They added a giant new wheel? Alright. I don't know what the fuck I just saw. Seems like a, I don't know, dungeon creation mode again? Don't they have so many of that? They have Incursion, they just got done with Lake of Calandra. It seems like another dungeon creation type of a... Looks kind of like heist. Well, it looked more like you choose your path.
Long rumored hidden beneath the Fell Shrine ruins. Abandoned for a long time, it is now controlled by a malevolent entity. In this league, you'll explore it, find out its secrets, and deal with the evil that lurks there. The Sanctum Challenge League is a roguelike game, played out one room at a time as you explore Rayclast and the Atlas in Path of Exile. In every area or map you enter, you can make a choice of which room in the Sanctum you will explore next. On the Sanctum map, you can see the contents of a few rooms ahead, enabling you to plot a path through its dangerous halls. And the Sanctum is dangerous. Like most roguelikes, you should not expect to be able to complete it on your first try. Getting to the deeper floors requires experience, knowledge, and luck. You should expect that your early attempts will fail, but over time, you'll be able to push yourself farther and farther. As you progress deeper into the Sanctum, you'll find a variety of treasures that will help you eventually fight your way to the dangers that await you at the end of its 4 floors. Eventually, by endgame, you may be able to push through all 4 floors to face the final boss.
Whoa.
Every roguelike needs a resource to help you track how well the run is going. In the Forbidden Sanctum, it is your resolve, indicated by this bar here. As you explore the Sanctum, your resolve is threatened by the dangers within. When you lose all of your resolve, your Sanctum run ends.
What?
Your level of resolve is maintained between consecutive rooms on your run, but is only shown when you're in the Sanctum itself. The resolve mechanic applies equally to all
Is it a
build
timer?
builds. Your resolve is reduced when you are hit by monsters or environmental hazards in the Sanctum.
Good.
And these telegraphed attacks are not affected by regular Path of Exile defensive mechanics, such as evasion, armor, or block. While these attacks do some nominal damage to your regular life, the bulk of their impact is against your resolve. This mechanic provides a mechanism for tracking your progress between rooms, where your regular life pool would long ago have been recovered. Another aspect of the resolve system is that characters who are struggling can be ejected from the Sanctum without actually having to die, avoiding experience loss or hardcore death.
Interesting.
So maintaining a healthy level of resolve is key as you navigate the Sanctum, and that means making careful choices of what rooms you enter. Let's have a look at some of the things that Sanctum rooms can contain. Afflicted rooms cause you to gain an affliction when you enter them. Afflictions make your Sanctum run more difficult. For example, reducing your resolve recovery, or causing rewards to become hidden on the Sanctum map,
Wow.
or causing Sanctum rooms to spawn volatile anomalies that follow you.
Oh,
These
God.
minor afflictions accumulate as you get deeper and deeper into a run, making it more challenging.
Thank you.
Major afflictions exist and are a big deal. They have significant consequences, such as entirely preventing the recovery of resolve.
Weak.
So, a Sanctum run gets harder and harder as you pick up more afflictions. Sounds great. But every roguelike needs a way for you to gain power throughout your run. In the Forbidden Sanctum, that system is boons.
What?
Boons are beneficial buffs that help you as you progress through the Sanctum. Minor boons make things a little easier, such
Boons?
as slowing down monsters or adding a special shield to your resolve called Inspiration.
Ed
Major
Boons.
boons don't come along often, but have large effects, such as preventing you from receiving more minor afflictions, or recovering your resolve to 50% the next time you run out.
Pretty cool.
Due to the vast variety of afflictions and boons, no two runs are the same. Generally speaking, your best Sanctum runs are the ones where the afflictions you choose have little effect on you, and the boons either counteract them or have a large benefit for the strategy you're running.
Thank you.
Some rooms in the Sanctum contain a fountain which will restore some of your lost resolve. Others contain afflicted fountains that restore even more resolve at a cost. Rooms with a treasure reward contain chests full of the Templar Aureus currency, a type of gold coin they use for commerce within their Sanctum. You'll also find some Aureus coins from monsters that you kill as you explore. These are picked up automatically, like Azurite, and are not tradable, and like your afflictions and boons, are lost when your Sanctum run ends.
Oh.
Some rooms contain a merchant who accepts your Aureus
Damn, hella
coins.
game within a game.
Plan your purchases carefully, as you may encounter the merchant again later on with even more expensive boons to purchase. Occasionally, the sinister powers controlling the Sanctum will present you with a choice of making an accursed pact. You are given several pacts to choose from, and can even opt to take all that you are offered. All pacts have a big upside and a big downside, such as exchanging a portion of your maximum resolve for a random major boon. It's very dangerous to make a pact, but if you pick the right circumstances, your gamble could pay off.
Hades?
In addition to
Is this
rewards
like
that help you
Hades?
progress through the Sanctum, many rooms let you immediately receive Path of Exile currency items, but with a twist. Whenever you're offered some currency items that you can receive right away, you are also offered a more valuable option that will be waiting for you after the boss fight at the end of the current floor of the Sanctum.
Receive
It's a
18
gamble,
chaos
because if you fail
orbs.
your run before you reach and defeat the boss, you will not receive the reward you picked. Later on, you're offered the extreme temptation of getting a massive currency reward that is conditional on completing your entire Sanctum run without failing. At a specific point in the Forbidden Sanctum storyline,
Oh, no.
you'll discover a special altar that Templar relics can be placed on. These relics directly affect your Sanctum runs and are not lost when the run ends. They persist throughout the League as a permanent source of meta progression.
What?
Acquiring new and better relics is one of the ways you can push farther and farther with each run you try. Relics cannot be crafted and cannot be traded, as they represent your personal progression throughout.
Do you have to hold them in your
You accumulate
inventory?
more than you can use simultaneously, so you'll have options to fine-tune your strategy from run to run. You can store your extra relics in the relic vault, a free storage space like the Expedition vault.
Oh boy, it's
I
small.
don't want to spoil important story details, but the end boss of the Forbidden Sanctum can drop unique items
Kanai's
from a pool
cube.
exclusive to this league. Today we'd like to show you a unique amulet called Eternal Damnation. This amulet offers a powerful way to gain additional elemental mitigation by introducing the concept of elemental damage reduction. Despite the drawback of reducing your maximum resistances, if you have sufficient chaos resistance, this is more than compensated for. Because of the roguelike nature of the Forbidden Sanctum, defeating the boss of a floor is a difficult achievement and hence rewards a lot of experience. You may fail on the way, so if you do manage it, expect a good experience boost from the achievement. Another reward you can find is a special type of relic called a sanctified relic that has mods that directly affect your character's build. You can only unlock one slot for this type of relic, and while these relics can't be crafted through conventional means, you may find special reward rooms in the sanctum.
Someone permanently banned this stupid bitch.
These relics exist for this league only and provide a boost to character power for players who are able to master the sanctum. The Sanctum League offers a roguelike experience that tempts you into taking risks and rewards you if those pay off. There's a lot to explore in the Sanctum, and we can't wait to hear about your experiences next week.
Man, that was a lot of stuff.
Path of Exile 2's release, we're improving Path of Exile's endgame, with new content to explore and improvements to how you customize your endgame experience. In the Forbidden Sanctum expansion, we're revamping the Atlas tree, reworking how Eldritch altars function, and are introducing 2 new Atlas memories. The Atlas tree is generally working really well, but has a few problems we'd like to address. The tree offers you the ability to specialize in killing pinnacle bosses, providing extra rewards when you do so. While this sounds good on paper, it creates a situation where you're incentivized to specialize your tree for regular mapping, save up all of your boss fights, then respec fully into boss mode, and then do all of your saved up boss fights before speccing back again. Ideally, the design of the Atlas tree would let you spec into one build and then just play the game. We have removed all boss bonuses from the Atlas tree, and have baked some of them into the actual base properties of the boss fights. For example, you don't need to allocate the Gaze into the Abyss mode that makes the Elder more likely to drop a Watcher's Eye, as he just has that drop chance built in now. The Atlas tree is now focused on allowing you to specialize into content that you encounter in every map. We also want you to be able to specialize into your favorite leagues even more deeply on the Atlas tree.
Look at this tree!
Each of the 10 leagues that the tree lets you
Oh
disable.
my god, look at this tree!
These new passives allow you to increase the league's spawn chance to much higher levels than currently possible, and juice the league even further than before. KO. We are making a number of changes to Eldritch altars.
Holy moly!
But will also affect gameplay decisions you make involving them. Some of the key changes include splitting up the basic currencies, Scarab, and Divination card rewards to be explicit in their description of what rewards you'll get.
They already said
For
this.
example, instead of map bosses dropping 3 unknown basic currency items, the altar specifically says which currency item they'll drop. As part of this change, we've removed some of the lower value yet quite common currency rewards from the pool, such as Orbs of Augmentation and Orbs of Transmutation. Speaking of Scarabs, these will be less available from altars, but we've improved their availability elsewhere to offset these. Trusted Scarabs can now drop from the core drop pool, and we've added a vendor recipe that allows you to upgrade your Scarabs up to Gilded using the normal 3-to-1 ratio.
This is old news.
You can also perform this action from your Fragment tab using the new upgrade button. We've made reward types exclusive to different influences, so that you know which influence type to invest in if you want to target find a certain reward.
Funny.
To give you a specific example, if you run maps influenced by, say, Eater of Worlds, you'll see Divine Orbs from the basic currency reward more than twice as often as before. We've also rebalanced rewards so that choices that affect boss drops or influence monster drops are comparatively more valuable. The Wrath of the Cosmos Keystone has been reworked. Previously, it was so rewarding that players felt obligated to use it despite its extreme level
This tree is
of
crazy.
It has retained the risk versus reward element, but with the overall intensity toned down. You can now also get awakened gems from defeating Maven Witness Max.
That's cool.
This additional reward helps further balance the expected returns from the various types of influence.
I like that.
For more detail on these changes, check out the Balance Manifesto we posted last week.
Vicious
or the update
projectiles.
In the Lake of Calandra expansion, we introduced Atlas memories. When applied to your Atlas, they unlock a sequence of maps that tells the story of an NPC's past. These stories manifest as specialized encounters that involve a new challenge and exciting rewards. In this expansion, we've introduced 2 new Atlas memories, describing events related to bestiary and domination.
Weird.
The bestiary memory line allows you to capture harvest monsters as beasts for your menagerie. These harvest beasts can be used in 9...
The entire league, last league, I never found a single harvest memory.
For example,
I found shitloads of the other ones, but I never... They're too rare.
Add another. This can
To
have
me.
potent results, but won't affect the life, mana, or energy shield modifiers. You can re-roll an awakened gem
I
from
found
one
like
to another.
40 of the other ones.
Another example is that you can also re-roll a synthesis implicit modifier.
What?
If an item has more than one synthesis implicit, it will randomly re-roll one of them. The Domination Atlas memory thrusts...
Are
into
you
a pantheon
kidding?
to watch over their shrines. Like regular shrines, these are guarded by monsters and emit a buff that empowers the monsters until you claim that buff for yourself.
Holy
This
shit.
introduces a new set of shrines with specialized buffs, guarded by rare monsters that drop tantalizing rewards.
Tantalizing.
The Forbidden Sanctum expansion introduces a new type of shard that can drop from harbingers.
Fracturing orb?
When combined together into a full currency item, you get the Fracturing Orb, which behaves the same as the Fracturing Craft from Harvest.
Get the fuck out.
Used on any rare item with at least 4 modifiers.
Get the fuck out.
Orb is applied, it locks all of the modifiers in place so that further crafting efforts do not affect that modifier.
How much?
Items fractured in this way can only have one fractured modifier.
Round 2.
Previously, this crafting option was gated behind the Oshabi fight in Harvest. Now that it has been rehoned to Harbinger, the Harvest crafting option...
Harbinger!
This means that you'll be able to use your Harvest life kills and Oshabi kills on other crafts. Because fracturing shards drop from Harbingers, you'll be able to target farm them by specking into down on your Atlas.
That's how they buffed Harbinger.
There's a number of new skills. In addition to some new
That's huge.
skills we'll discuss later in the live stream, there are 2 totally new skills that we'd like to get out today.
Nice capped bitch.
Fiery slam skill that can be used with staves, maces, axes, and unarmed attacks. Strike the ground and create a chasm that winds towards your target. This chasm can path around corners before erupting.
No
so
divine
gets as close as
shards?
it can reach.
I mean, those are divine shards. What else do you want? Depends on how much they cost.
Enemies hit by multiple impacts will take a lot of stacked damage.
In trade, I
Pose
mean.
for reliable bursts of damage or aim far away to damage larger areas. Frozen Legion is an unusual spell, summoning a ring of icy statues
Whoa.
to attack with your own weapon damage.
That's cool.
The skill has multiple cooldown stats and
Ice
contains
clones.
all cooldown uses at once to summon a statue to reach available cooldown. The statues perform a sweeping ice slam, and these sweeps can overlap, resulting in multiple hits against targets close to you.
That's cool.
With staves, maces, and axes. The skill is particularly powerful with slow, heavy weapons, as while the statues will lose your attack speed, you should instead prioritize the spell's own cast time and cooldown. This expansion also introduces many new Val melee skills. As you know, equipping a Val skill gem grants you both the Val and regular version of the skill. As you kill enemies, the gem charges up with their soul, and after a certain number are collected, the Val skill can be used once. Most of the new Val skills introduced in this expansion are melee skills, and this results in an indirect buff to any melee builds that use one of these skills. Where previously you'd just be using your melee skill to kill enemies, you now get to periodically use a superpowered version of the skill. If you like Flicker Strike, you'll love Val Flicker Strike, as it really dials up the concept of letting fate take the wheel. Val Flicker Strike causes you to flicker dozens of extra times, slashing enemies.
I'm gonna
During this
barf.
time, you don't deal any damage to the enemies you slash. You're quite vulnerable due to not leeching or generating fortify stacks. When you finish flickering, if you survived of course, you'll be rewarded with a single
This is
huge
such a
hit damage
ridiculous
against each enemy
skill.
you slashed.
I've tried it before. It's like absurd. Makes you want to barf.
In a similar way to how Val Cleave works. Val Cleave triggers 2 buffs, one when you kill a rare enemy, and one when you kill either a
It's the
rare
best
or
skill. I couldn't
The
handle it.
latter is a strong buff to regular Cleave, which you can keep up almost permanently.
I haven't given it a real
kill
shot
rare or
though.
unique enemies often enough. The bonus for killing a rare enemy is that you get to steal its mods for a time. You can enjoy part of the power of having a headhunter without actually needing to find one. Overall, Val Cleave is a pretty powerful upgrade to any melee build that could run
Interesting.
Cleave.
You get to
That
steal.
positive radius buff is looking pretty good now, right?
Val Cleave steals a rare
We'll
buff.
showcase the other new Val skills we're introducing over the coming week.
That's pretty cool.
The Forbidden Sanctum expansion introduces over 15 new unique items, from Sanctum exclusive uniques to ones that can be found from Path of Exile's pinnacle bosses. I'd like to show you 3 examples of these, designed by winners of our prior league's boss kill races. Progenesis is a unique amethyst flask that was designed by Ben and drops from the Uber Mage. It's a defensive flask that grants a mini version of the blood effect,
Wow.
but without requiring you to be on low life. This is a useful tool to prevent you getting one-shot by large amounts of incoming damage in scary situations. Rational Doctrine is a unique jewel that was designed by Roland and drops from Uber Venarius. By manipulating your attributes, you can change how this jewel behaves. While the ideal dream outcome is that you manage to get your strength and intelligence tied for highest, enabling both of the benefits simultaneously, the jewel is still very powerful if it only grants your choice of permanent consecrated ground or permanent program ground. Entropic Devastation is a pair of unique gloves that were designed by Gucci Pradas and dropped in the Uber Shaper. Currently, the ways to get Spell Impale are very limited. These gloves provide the powerful property of causing all of your spells to impale and crit. So let's talk about unique weapons.
Sleeping Face.
Specifically, endgame unique weapons. In many ways, the weapon is the most iconic and important item on a character, so it's very important that we make them exciting and worthy of their unique status. While some unique weapons have special properties that enable entirely new builds, others are best compared to powerful rare items as a primary source of your character's damage. We have to be very careful when pitching the power level of these unique weapons. If they're not powerful enough, then they're useless and are ignored, but if they're too powerful, then they discourage entire archetypes of characters from trying to find or craft rare weapons.
Buff the RF food.
Despite Mageblood and Headhunter both existing as extremely powerful unique items, people still craft plenty of rare belts. That's because Mageblood and Headhunter are extremely rare, and people don't actually expect they'll reliably get one in the league. Players tend to treat them as luxury upgrades to their build, rather than something they're certain to get. In this expansion, we're promoting 10 iconic but underused unique weapons to the same tier of rarity as Mageblood and Headhunter.
What?
We are buffing them a gigantic amount and are making them incredibly hard to find.
What?
Remember when Starforge used to be an exciting item? Well, after this change, it certainly is again. It still drops exclusively from the Shaper and the Uber Shaper, but it'll take a lot of runs or a lot of luck to earn it. Over the next week, we'll reveal the other unique weapons that have been massively buffed. We have targeted around 10 iconic underused unique weapons that have generally buffed only their damage stat, but by a lot. We've made a number of changes to jewels that are covered in a recent balance manifesto.
That means there's like 11 headhunters or headhunter-like items now.
We've made jewels a better source of ailment mitigation by buffing the values of ailment-focused jewel modifiers and adding new modifiers that enable mitigation to a wider variety of ailments than before. We have also removed some ailment mitigation modifiers that were only available in jewels through corruption, because there are now better options through the regular jewel mod.
This is old news.
This also means that other desirable corruption modifiers, like immunity to corrupting blood, are more likely to roll. We want the unique jewel to be way more exciting than it currently is. We've added a handful of new, very powerful unique jewels and have removed some old, less interesting ones. An example of one of these new unique jewels is Fire Song, which propagates their ignite mitigation to other elemental ailments.
That's tight.
If you're able to substantially reduce the duration of Ignite Zone, then you can use Fire Song to basically shrug off any elemental ailment.
Yeah, this one is
information about the other changes to unique jewels, check out the Balance Manifesto post we made recently. We've rebalanced curses to make them stronger when they matter most against unique monsters and pinnacle bosses.
This is old too.
We've buffed several Hex-related unique items and reworked unique items that previously interacted with Doom. To replace the Doomsday Keystone passive, we have brought back a version of an iconic curse-related Keystone.
I'm gonna watch this in like 0.5
We've
speed.
introduced some powerful new unique items that interact with hexes, which we'll reveal in the lead up to launch. For more details on changes to curses, check out the Balance Manifesto we posted recently, or the patch notes that will come out after the live stream concludes. When we first created the Arch Nemesis monster mod system, our goal was to improve Path of Exile's outdated set of monster mods with new and interesting mechanics that have modern game balance.
Interesting
We
world.
feel that Arch Nemesis did introduce a lot of interesting mechanics.
Hey, Shinblade, thanks, man.
Perfect. We have replaced Arch
Thanks,
Nemesis
Cool
with
Dev.
a
Thanks,
system
everybody.
more similar
Sorry,
to the way
I'm
monster
listening.
mods worked in the past. The new monster mods are a lot simpler. They now each do one thing and very clearly state what they do. Each encounter with a rare monster is now less complex and is easier to understand in the heat of combat compared to Arch Nemesis. You'll still encounter challenging combinations of mods from time to time, but this emergent synergy will be rarer than it was in Arch Nemesis. The goal is that combat is interesting and varied, with moments to get your heart racing, but without the frustrations of the Arch Nemesis system. Let's talk about rewards. Under Arch Nemesis, it often felt mandatory to bring in a magic find culling character to kill some monsters of you in order to maximize your rewards.
Fix it.
In the new system, we've added a significant pool of new rewards to rares. The reward that is on the monster is hidden and not associated with a specific mod, so you don't know what kind of rewards you will get until you kill the monster. Rare monsters with more mods are more likely to have these special hidden reward bonuses. To find out more about other balance changes that are taking place in the Forbidden Sanctum, check out the patch notes which will be available when the live stream ends. Over the last year or so, some of our senior developers have been tinkering with a more challenging way to play Path of Exile. We've been publicly alpha testing this mode, known as Ruthless, for the last month, and are planning to make it available to anyone who's interested alongside the launch of the Forbidden Sanctum next week.
This guy.
Ruthless is an optional additional character flag, like Hardcore or Solo Self-Found, that completely changes how Path of Exile feels to play. Ruthless is a lot more difficult than regular Path of Exile, but it doesn't achieve this by making the monsters harder to kill. It instead focuses on reducing character power through extreme item scarcity, limited crafting, and many other changes such as support gems being drop only. We've posted an article about the philosophy and rules of Ruthless on pathofexile.com/ruthless. We plan to release this mode alongside the Forbidden Sanctum expansion in a week. In addition to being a character flag like Hardcore or Solo Self-Found, it's also available as a modifier for private leagues. To be clear, the Forbidden Sanctum league content can be played in
Bald mode?
appropriately balanced regions.
Perfect.
Ruthless is still very experimental during 320, and we won't be afraid to make mid-league balance changes to it during this experimental phase. Ruthless is not for everyone.
I wonder if
But
this
so far,
mode
it's
will get
supportive and
way
growing
better
for
later.
players who enjoy the additional challenge that it brings. If it sounds like something you're interested in, then try it out next time you're looking for a new way to enjoy Path of Exile. This expansion also contains a number of small quality of life improvements. Some examples are...
Hey, speak for yourself. I'm interested in that mode. You just need to get good.
On the player overhead life bar, the energy shield bar is split into a separate bar. You can now right-click an itemized temple of Axolotl to see its layout. And most importantly, beast crafting recipes that add mods to flasks now actually say what the mods do.
How stupid are these guys for not doing that from the beginning? What the fuck, dude? Fucking scrubs. Why didn't they already say that? Of the urchin? Get out of here.
Points plus several exclusive microtransactions. These
Stone.
will only be available for the duration of the Sanctum Challenge League and will leave the store forever.
Of the urchin, dude?
always, these
What the fuck does that mean?
do not affect the character's progression. The Forge series of support packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
Sea urchin. Yeah, no shit, you dumb fucking asshole. I know that's what that means, but what does it do? Oh, and that's a sea urchin. Shut up, bitch.
Round 4. Fight.
What the hell? Jetpack?
The Delirious hideout decoration lets you summon Delirium Fog in your hideout at will, complete with strange voices and terrifying apparitions.
What? Delirium fog in your hideout? I gotta get that. Delirium bong? That's pretty
The
hype.
Forge Guard artist summons a hammer and anvil so that everyone nearby can watch the craft.
What? Everyone nearby? Oh god.
The Ethereal Fusing effect turns your item linking attempts into a spectator sport. If you manage to hit a 6th link, people watching are even prompted to send a congratulatory.
Look at this. Woo! I hit my 6th link. Stupid. Woohoo!
Summoning the Crow Storm portal effect causes a murder of crows to erupt from the portal. The portal becomes dormant if you are too far away from it, causing the crows to take to the sky.
That's pretty cool.
The High Templar weapon effect smites the undead in fight and scours the souls of those who perish. The Gemling Pack series also has 6 exclusive microtransactions. The Beehive weapon effect lets your weapon play host to a swarm of angry bees, which erupt.
Weird. These?
Critical hits cause the hive to send out its best warriors. The Stampede Quicksilver Flask makes you the leader of your own personal rower herd. Activating the flask causes a host of ghostly rowers to charge alongside you.
So stupid.
This is the Gemling Artificer armor set. It is
Whoa.
inlaid with gems that match the gems you've socketed in your items. Crafting gems with gem cutters prisms, bar orbs, or recreating lenses visualizes the process for all to see. This armor set also includes ultimate gem level up effects.
What?
Prospero's Ring blesses you with a constant shower of coins, and it helps you thank players you've traded with through a hearty fist bump.
Get out of here. So
Consuming
stupid, dude.
ooze pit bounces alongside you and devours corpses in your wake, spitting out a tidy pile of bones.
Okay.
Finally, this pack allows you to reunite with
Round
Kadero
1.
Perandus,
Oh,
inviting
shit.
him to your
Fight.
hideout as a vendor. In addition to buying items from you and using his connections to accept your divination cards, he'll provide commentary on your goods, equipment, and anything else he sees fit to judge you for.
That's weird. He doesn't do anything else?
Kadero has hundreds of lines of voice acting.
A mighty head. I'm so impressed.
They took the league mechanic out.
Rain fragments splatter everywhere. sully your armor.
Round 2.
Oh, it's an MTX?
Fight.
These new patches are available right now
Weird.
at pathofexile.com/purchase. Purchases like these directly fund the ongoing development of Path of Exile 1 and 2, and we really appreciate your support. Meanwhile, the Knight and Rogue packs leave the store forever in 1 week, so now is your last chance to purchase them.
Forever.
The Calandra edition of Kirik's Vault Pass is only available until the end of the Calandra League, and will be replaced with a new set of unique items when the Forbidden Sanctum launches.
I'm so glad all this shit is just cosmetic.
11 build guide once the Forbidden Sanctum comes out. If you want to submit your build for the season, share your build guide on the class forums on
Round
pathofexile.com.
Fight.
Next up, we've got the Q&A with Ziggy D. Once that ends, we'll post the full patch notes for the Forbidden Sanctum.
It's way worse when it's
Will
not
post the
cosmetic.
expansion's challenge rewards, information on how to update your item filters, all new and changed gems, and information on how to prepare for launch. On launch weekend, we expect to release...
Yeah,
a
the
new
league
box
mechanic does
for
look pretty
the
cool.
Kirik's Vault Pass. Thanks for joining us and checking out.
I think the league mechanic does look pretty cool. It depends though. The rewards have to be good enough for you to take the time to do it. The coolest thing to me was the fracturing orb. That shit got my nipples stiff. The fracturing orb is super fucking hype, dude. That is super hype. That is super fucking hype. And the fact that you can farm it out of a Harbinger, that shit, I'm in. Oh, and the new Atlas tree, that shit looks like a headache, but probably awesome. Shit is huge. Hey, Shimblade, I've been great, thankfully. I hope you've been good too. Thanks again. And everybody else too, there's a lot of people in here that didn't get thanked. I really appreciate all of you. Thanks very much. I'll just bulk thank. Thanks, bros. They're gonna do a Q&A. Probably gonna giggle a lot and wink at each other. That's what they do. There they are.
Good morning, Exiles,
like this
and welcome
guy.
back
Yeah.
for another Q&A session.
Little giggle and wink session.
Awesome. Good morning, Chris. Thank you for joining us once again.
Thanks for being here as well.
Very keen to jump into chatting about Forbidden Sanctum straight away, but as always,
Fight.
folks can put your
Can you believe that guy got fired?
So
That guy got banned from Path of Exile.
It has gotten to be so many things over the
That was his
I
job.
really feel like you just don't need to make another game in any other genre because you can just make a league that is that genre. Like make a farming league.
That is a very game within a
roguelike
game.
league.
This league.
I guess that's one part of the job, but we always try to make sure that when we're designing our leagues, they're games that fit within the idea of being an action RPG. Like, they have to involve you killing monsters and finding items in order to fit within Path of Exile.
Yeah, so even when you're farming, you're killing monsters, or even when you're fishing, you're killing monsters. Or
Yeah,
the
there's
one
a
where we pull
bit of
monsters
an
out of
agenda
the
there.
water. I was planning on pushing the fishing angle.
So that's when you get on the boat and have your fishing league, right?
And you like pull monsters out of the water, right? Like giant
We got a
fish
couple
and
of jokers here.
walk around on the deck.
Interesting. That one's under NDA, so
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. How do you
Yep,
gain
little
access to
giggly
the new
bitches.
Forbidden Sanctum?
So basically, every area you're playing in has a portal that gives you access to it. It basically takes you to the next room that you find in the Sanctum in your current run.
Ah, okay. So to clarify then, the Sanctum's divided into rooms, each with their own encounter, and then floors with a boss at the end of each. And then there's the whole Sanctum itself, which is multiple floors.
That's right. So the Sanctum itself has 4 floors, each one guarded by a boss at the end, with the ultimate boss fight at the end of the 4th floor. And each of the floors has 8 rooms, and so a maximum length Sanctum run would be 32 consecutive rooms, which you play out over potentially 32 maps. But it's worth emphasizing that, as with most roguelikes, you don't just, install it and then happily play through to the end in one go. It's something that you get further and further with each run, as you get better meta progression, as you learn more about it, and as you have good versus bad runs.
I presume it like level scales to the character kind of as you're leveling still, as the regular league. Is there any potential, do you think, that someone who's like quite good at the game maybe gets through on their first try, or is this quite definitely you're going to have to make it a bit further each time?
We never underestimate the players, right? Like, try as hard as we can to achieve something, and then players will just blow right past that because there are millions of them and they're pretty damn good at the game. So I don't want to make any promises there, but it certainly is the case that in order to get really deep into the Sanctum, you have to know a lot about it, you have to have some experience with it. You have to ideally have a good character with a capable build. You'd ideally have a good setup of your relics, which are the meta progression. To get to the deeper floors, it certainly requires that you've assembled relics that fit with your strategy, and it also helps to be having a
There's too many adverts on this.
No, I give you for 60 baht. For mini.
Get ready for the next battle.
Fucking deal is essentially 19, bro. 860. Fuck up.
That's correct, but a lot of the rewards you're getting along the way, and so it's entirely fine to play the Sanctum a few floors in and then fail and play again, and it's still a rewarding experience, assuming you don't gamble on pushing the reward right to the end of the entire Sanctum run. But it's unlikely you're going to choose to do that if you're really confident in your ability to do this run particularly well.
Yeah, so I saw the reward options were like take
thanks, guys.
like a decent reward to get to the floor, so it's like, oh, I did 3 rewards, and then as well, and they'll stack right if you go for them.
That's right, and it was kind of funny. Reward was showing like a few chaos chat that as much as they could. The thing is, okay, so let's do some math, right? 32 rooms.
Here we go.
And deferrals make up something like 40%. KO. It makes up around 40%.
Round 2.
And so if you're offered an average of a whole bunch of chaos rooms, I think the example there had like obviously vary a lot. And you would put those entirely to the end of the game, hundreds of currency, and it can have divine mirrors and various other stuff in there moderately rarely. So it's entirely possible that
moderately rarely.
Now, of course, deferring it to the end of the Sanctum is a crazy strategy. We don't recommend that. Only do this if you're confident. It's set up so that rewards for are still worthwhile. If you play the Sanctum, it just took the reward immediately. It's a decent amount of currency that makes it worthwhile on top of the you're getting. But there's always the temptation of the floor one is the one that's due to of course, in later floors, the end of the Sanctum doesn't sit very far away, and if you know you're having a good run,
KO.
Don't go betting your life on anything.
Round 3.
Some reward immediately.
Fight.
And then you've designed so this is like
I was just going to say, this is roguelike getting a great ability to make it like gambling.
yeah, right. You can make your decisions kind of based on I'm going to check out have you thought about like player mindset? Just like I always
KO.
And I'm like, I'm never going to get it.
Obviously, players want to min-max stuff. They want to get the best result, but the best result may pragmatically say, I'm going to take this reward that's in a shorter time frame. Plus, okay, so anyone who's done economics or finance understands the concept of the time value of money. $1 now is worth more than $1 later, because you can put it in.
Get ready for the next battle.
30 maps. Maybe getting a pile of chaoses, potentially some higher currency like Exalts and Divines, a few maps from is actually better for your character development than getting a very large pile in 20 maps.
I'm bored in capital letters, dude. Here, let me help you with that. Next time you're bored, make sure you keep it to yourself, shithead. Nobody gives a fuck about you.
Which we put on the table here for the players.
Yeah, I'm going to have to dig out my old economics textbook.
Round 1.
Capital letters.
Fight.
Let's talk the resolve mechanics. Like, resolve is an independent result. And when you're resolving that, dead on.
That's correct. Now, I noticed when you're announcing the results system, there's a lot of places
You got bored to death.
So
I've banned 2 people already today, and I want to ban 10 by the end of the stream. Who's gonna be the lucky one?
KO.
agree. There's no
Round
there's no
2.
persistence to this. Your player
Fight.
life is like how other it's very brief. It's almost like your heartbeat to some extent. And so, if we were to say, look, there is some life in there, and you can take it to the next room, that life is going to be missing, so you've got kind of a progression to the sanctum, and then just move on and heal and carry on playing. And so, our experiments where having said that, after the
KO.
and there are lots of them.
Round
I mean, it's
3.
as simple as if your resolve
Fight.
is low, that's the sanctum one as well.
That charm shit is crazy.
Various things like
Going on?
and every time you choose something, focus on the result, you're immediately losing other than you getting more access. So, the reason you're struggling with rewards, but conversely, this means having a good
So
run
that's
with
like,
yourself.
I think we're at 5,
Resolve,
4.
focus on becoming super powerful, and this works really well.
KO.
Based on the fact that it's an additional life bar. We don't have those for no reason. And it means as well that you don't have as much pressure on your actual player life. And it's very interesting how build agnostic this is, because it creates a situation where different Path of Exile players can experience the Sanctum in similar ways despite
Get ready for the next battle.
This was Q&A is super good to do because you get a chance to explain this.
At least
like,
they're not
how you
giggling
arrived
that
at
much this
design.
time.
Yeah, 'cause it would-
Yeah,
I'll
Bangle.
reveal for like 10 minutes.
Hey, thanks for all the
That's super
subs,
interesting.
everybody.
You actually touched on a topic I wanted to ask. So,
I'm gonna beat
Resolve
that
seems to
game,
reward high mobility
after this.
Styles that can completely avoid attacks.
The hotel?
So, since mitigation doesn't affect Resolve,
Round
how
1.
does it feel playing like a low mobility
Fight.
tanky melee?
Stop doing that.
You kind of just be failing enough to get
So we've made it so that the resolve damage is lower close to a target. Essentially, if you're meeting right in their face, then you resolve damage. And so attacks are a great telegraph. And that means that even if you're a melee character, you have an opportunity.
That's pretty cool.
You probably consider at least that's normal the other thing is
KO.
to take a lot of resolve damage. Just suspect your
Round
relics
2.
resolve recovery. Relics are
Fight.
meta progression. Keep them so if you get rid of maybe less damage or less damage or something. And there are other things
Perfect. Round 3. Fight.
It's like something that we the melee and tank characters get up close, and so it's
KO.
That's not.
You lose.
And so the side effect of Resolve is that
super
hardcore
loud.
characters can actually engage with it without putting themselves in mortal danger. It also means, of course, the way that experience penalties work, high-level characters can play without putting their current experience so much on the line. I mean, it's still very... I mean, I've died in this thing.
Get ready for the next battle.
Because I was careless, but it's
Get ready.
certainly easier from a player
Damn,
life
2
point of
Chris
view
Wilsons?
than, say, high-level mapping is.
Those are different shirts.
Resolve as a whole. It's,
One of them has a collar and the
exactly
other one
what-
doesn't.
how
This
well
guy
you've
only
done
wears
over the
white
course of
button
the entire
shirts.
Dungeon,
Tabulous.
whereas your health is how well you've done in this specific engagement, which is an interesting kind of like two-faceted approach that we don't.
He
normally
always
have.
wears
For example,
bright
if you do
white
that at the start of the
shirts.
map, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the rest of the
Round
map, right?
1.
Yeah, and it's also meant that
Fight.
if we want something to be dangerous, we have to resolve a bit. We don't have this damage threatening the actual characters.
What a freak.
Interesting. Cool. To clarify on the sanctified relics, these are the ones. Wait, the effective
Hey, be careful what you say in here, man. You know us bald MRs stick together. I'll fucking get you. I got 10. How many bands do I have left? 6 bands.
Round
I'll ban
two.
your ass from my Path of Exile in the chat room, bitch. Careful what you say.
Get access, but they're very powerful, and because of the fact that they're traded, we make sure to juice the mods on them and make sure it's not watered down. These are relics which will significantly increase the character power of your build. They are shared among all characters in your account. It does mean that if you find one for one character and you want to do a different build, it's entirely possible.
Round 3. Fight.
Very cool. How does the Sanctum work in the party?
Okay. Got a bunch of rules here. Short answer is, as we did recently, because we want to make it work, but we
Party
also want it so that people don't feel encouraged to choose the party class.
Yeah, he's winking harder.
Like one of the problems with Arch Nemesis was is that players realize when they find a certain monster
Round
that,
4.
oh, I now have to engage with other
Fight.
humans in order to get next. So if you want Sanctum to work in the party without creating a feeling you have to engage with humans. Sanctum, it shouldn't feel like you only want to go in there when you have a whole bunch of friends who are online at the same time. So we've come up with rules that enable you to play as a party. Certainly there's some benefits for doing so, but there is also some liabilities with it. And so the way it works is the Sanctum is always that of the map. The person who created the map is the one whose Sanctum you define. So if Ziggy and I are playing, and we do Ziggy's Sanctum, he's the one who can create it. And afterwards, it would be nice if he reciprocated and we did my Sanctum as well. But primarily you're one that's progressing. And so this means that you are the one who makes the choices about stuff. This is the one.
Man, that is so dangerous.
Using your gold, your boon,
Having
your
a
affliction,
a issue with winking all the time is so fucked up, dude.
Into your Sanctum with you.
And he's like a owner, he's like a CEO or some shit. Could you imagine your boss constantly telling you shit and then
this means that
it's like,
can't just go
wait a
and
minute.
set themselves on stuff to
Hold
create
on.
monsters. They actually have to be playing properly.
Wait,
Party member deaths do not.
do you want me to do that shit or what?
Legitimately, that doesn't screw up what you're doing. There's a bunch of other small rules there, like
Wait a minute.
You know, party members can view the merchant,
Round
view the map,
1.
but only the map owner actually makes the purchases and purchases stuff.
So funny.
In practice, what this means is it
So
does bring
funny.
people to play together. It does give you a small advantage from a combat point of view if you have multiple players. But you do all have to be playing cohesively, so only bring in party members you trust. You can also drop party members in and out, so
I can't resist it. I love laughing so much.
and because it's sharing my resources, that's compatible with reserved for a specific
KO.
That would be hilarious.
Round 2. Fight.
Okay, there's some, we've got a couple of chat questions on the mechanics here specifically as well.
A little gigglers.
When you die, you do a resolve death,
Yes.
and your character is locked on the ground like a fish. Are you fully protected from taking any damage from any source, dots, anything like that? You guys have checked, right?
Yes. I checked this yesterday. The list of things were, like, I'll read it to you. Cannot be damaged. Minions take no action. You have grace period. Deal no damage. No damage. Minions cannot be damaged. A whole bunch of stuff.
Okay,
We'll see about that.
excellent. I just had to make 100% sure.
Wink,
People
wink.
were like, I fell into the
KO.
Sanctum and then I died with nothing to do with my character.
Round 3.
Good.
Fight.
Excellent. Losing resolve death. XP lost, or is your XP?
No.
My
Nice
belief
waste
is-
of a question.
Yeah. So that was the dev check. You don't lose if you fail out through the result. That's because
Nice
it
shitty question,
doesn't increase
bitch.
the deaths count. You don't lose experience from the type of characters. It's entirely basically fate being ejected.
Malloy asks, do we need to interact with the lead mechanic every zone, or can we somehow build a disable to run them all?
You do interact with it in every zone, and it's not particularly but yes, you do interact with it.
Great.
Yeah, sometimes you literally just
Round
you
4.
probably just portal in and click a fountain
Fight.
and leave, right? And then go back in.
The structure is that every room, so the basic way it works is you take the portal and you hear a small anti-chamber which enables you to make a choice. You click on the map, have a look at what the options are, where you should go next, you go ahead, and you lock in a choice, and then a door, one of the 3 doors, or up to 3 doors in that room slides open. So you go through, now you're in the actual main sanctum. So you do whatever the objective is, maybe just get into the exit or kill the guards, or whatever, and this is not designed it's meant to not interrupt the mapping from a pace point of view. And that's cool. You end up in the reward. Every room has a reward, and these vary from all the things we've talked about, you know, fountains, and so on.
What was
or
that
the
Kanai's
offer
cube?
one, which is the item. And a whole bunch of other, I showed a lot of other reward rooms we haven't shown in the live stream. Like, the goal here is players explore and find stuff, so we only showed a subset in the announcement. And so after you've done that, you're right back into the map you were playing. And so it's a relatively quick process and does improve your Sanctum progress or give you some actual currency.
Get ready for the next
behind the scenes on the side.
Those relics work outside of
Let's try and avoid
the
spoilers
Sanctum.
as much as possible for like.
It's like a Kanai's cube.
And there's
Or a reverse.
There's a lot of discovery, and there's quite a lot of story as well. Like, there's an actual reason why the Sanctum is, you know, got this bad person in there and what's going on with that. But we'd much prefer people actually enjoy that
Story
rather than
lull.
stuffing it all on them here.
And bosses too. I'm very excited.
Yeah, lots of boss fights.
Round 1.
Lots of boss fights?
Something. Very good. Official arrow asks, do totems when I perform lose your resolve? And I'll as well.
No.
The self-inflicted damage.
I think it does.
Uh-oh.
There's a lot of shrugging. No. It's only damage that's tagged with affecting like,
Uh-oh. No one ever thought of that.
There are some, let's say, environmental in the Sanctum. You can see it briefly in some of the footage of, like, you know, big normal orbs flying around and that kind of thing. You know, an object in the middle of the room is spewing out laser beams. That's something that you resolve. But it's really telegraphed.
Round
it's
2.
very easy for people to deal with.
Fight.
Very easy.
Multi-dose question as well. So we'll move on to the next topic, which is in-game changes. So the need to swap between bossing and mapping in the Atlas tree is awkward. So pretty excited about that change. Many of the nodes
Yeah,
have been
that's
rolled
sick.
into default now for bossing. But are there any methods that remain on the Atlas tree for bossing and reward stuff? I'm guessing there are still modes for example with enable versions for various bosses.
Yes, there are other modes. So if you want to play fights, you can allocate them.
Round
but
3.
thankfully, that's a very small investment.
Fight.
To do, particularly after the main problem, which is where you have to, you feel like you have to fully spec into bosses and then fully unspec that.
Yeah, that sucks.
Is variable. And it's worth noting the kind of people that are going to go to Pinnacle County can afford the regrets, like a passive on but basically, the plan is that you can play bosses at any time without feeling like you have to respec your tree or your
I like that.
I mean, it's also important that thankfully. So the allocation of boss nodes made things more challenging. More
Round 4.
For example,
Fight.
inevitable ambush, adding a second guardian.
Why did he wait
like
there?
Made default behavior now, or still passes, or
Inevitable ambush.
Once that extra challenge and rewards are gone, it's a case that we want to bring them back in some form. And we have some plans for this. They probably won't be an at-320 release, but we do have some cool ways.
Which
where
part's
basically
gone for
the
good?
ability to opt in and do the challenge. It's not going to completely that creates the problems we've discussed, but it will come from somewhere.
The other chat is effing.
But in the meantime, obviously, there's still a lot of ways to ramp up the juice.
Double guardians and shaper maps. Oh, that sucks.
viewable today alongside.
That sucks. That's a nerf.
Later, maybe.
I don't think it's today, but our expectation is to release it before release so that you do get a chance to plan around it.
Okay. Reign of Pain Games asks, there was mention of boss nodes being moved from the Atlas to passive tree the bosses directly. To avoid what happened last week with loot, are there any number changes happening with the modifiers?
I'm unaware of any. I mean, we've tried very hard.
Thanks for the sub.
Welcome to the King of Iron Fist Tournament 7, Paul Phoenix.
In order to try to make sure it's complete, and also
I'm having a great
the rest of the
day,
live
yeah.
stream and our information are based on this kind of stuff. So we are trying very hard to disclose small changes like that, which would
Two Chris Wilsons.
Any stuff we haven't spoken about.
Get ready for the next
More
battle.
orange on the live
I
one.
think a lot of players are very happy to read the manifesto about the replacement of the Arch Nemesis system for Rare Nemesis with a more, I guess, Nemesis-like system. Do you think that this new system will still achieve the goals that you set out to achieve with Arch Nemesis, though?
So the goal of Arch Nemesis initially was modernization of the effects.
Round
and balance.
1.
We felt that the old monster mods
Fight.
were just really old.
How long is this usually? An hour, right?
Now our fresh coat of paint included some stuff the players didn't like, and so we're trying very hard to make sure the new system does achieve the core goals of Arch Nemesis without having to like. To that effect, it now does use modern effects. You know, there's a lot of stuff in the system that was used and without the appropriate effects. It's definitely and at the same time is trying to be much more understandable.
KO
for liking my stream.
Round
On a
2.
very kind of just like rough feeling basis, how do you think like an old Arch Nemesis compares to a new?
My impression so far is that the monsters are average, a bit easier, but the key is, okay, here's that Nemesis mod. Had a grab bag of stuff that it did. It genuinely made us do more damage than there was. It also had an interesting thing that happened gameplay-wise, and it added a bunch of defensive properties, and often on multiple axes. And so it cohesively had a kind of, this is a fire, it's going to screw you up with fire in 4 different ways kind of theme. And so therefore it applied to pretty much any character, right? It would have some way of interacting. The new mods are very simple. The new mods say, oh, you're not going to be able to do much fire damage to me. I'm going to do a lot of fire damage to you. Well, I have a magma barrier. They just do one thing. And therefore, they're very, let's say, Boolean against certain players. I'll give an example. Let's say you run into a rare monster with 2 mods, and those 2 mods are lightning and that it's resistant to fire damage. So if you're playing a
I doubt they call him Winky.
He
might ban them.
So you can kill a monster easily and it doesn't do anything extra to you.
I like the way that skill looks. The one they're showing right now. With all the ice clones. I like the way that skill looks. I kind of want to play that. But I bet it's going to suck ass. But I mean, it looks cool. It's cooldown dependent. Yeah, so. What do you think, it's gonna suck? It reminds me of General's Cry Shield Crush. The way it was like popping off. Which sucks. But I wonder if it's good.
Final round. Fight.
Oh yeah, that Reap stealing a rare? That's cool.
Have you guys explored the idea of color coding new modifiers in some way to help players fight them?
KOs.
Or maybe like color-coded glows on monsters to denote certain effects.
They do have visual effects on them in many cases, so you often can see what a monster does based on what it looks like. But otherwise, what we focused on here is to succinctly and completely describe what the monster does in text. And this is a list that has more words than Arch Nemesis, because Arch Nemesis would have something like Flame Walker, and then what is that? You learn, of course, but there were 70 plus of them. And so now it specifically says what it does. This may mean more reading. It may not be a good end point, right? It might be that we need to make the things slightly more concise, but I'm really worried about us getting back into keywording, because part of the problem with keywording was then a player can't look at the keyword and actually understand what it does. So I don't know. Longer term, there are probably solutions here. Maybe the right answer is to put some color coding back. Currently, it's
color coding. What is this, kindergarten?
Keywords in Arch Nemesis. I mean, it could be restored, but we'd like people to play and give us some feedback. If you guys can suggest how the mods can be made further clear, you know, so that you can easily identify them.
Clear. Name them something clear, dude. Name them clearly.
We want to make sure that achieves our goals and is
just give them good names. Hey, thanks, Hugh Janus. And thanks, everyone I didn't thank.
You start with elementally aligned things that are color-coded alongside
the we have done is the text on the monsters like resist fire, resist cold, or the one that kicks in when they have approximately 15% resistance.
Round 2
was feeling a bit spammy alongside all these mods. Like when we're asking for 3 short lines of mod text, having like resist fire, resist cold as well was quite a lot. So we've moved those to the right with the life bar. And so
like Diablo 2.
Who cares about which monsters are fire resistant? You're just glancing at symbols now rather than text. And that's
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like good to know. So let's look at the loot goblin issue. It seems like it'll be solved by players simply just not knowing which monster is going to be the big loot data.
KO.
But how do you feel about the loot
Round
conversion
3.
system overall? Because I thought this system was quite interesting, but maybe a little bit tainted by how it was implemented. So for the conversion system, two questions it takes: what a monster would usually drop, and conversion into new kind of reward, like rewards.
So we've reviewed the loot conversions and added some new ones, dropped some old ones, like the ones that just gave you powers of fast, as far as I know that doesn't exist anymore. And we've gone through and made sure to use the feedback that people have had. The special... So the way it works is... Rare monsters drop more items than regular monsters. By itself, it actually... And the reward is interesting. We want people to feel like they're really, that there's an extra reason to kill rare monsters. Because you could otherwise ignore them. And so you basically have these bonus drops that occur. And bonus drops include conversions, but they also include other stuff. And there's a chance of getting the bonus drops that's proportional to the mods that are
break. I gotta take a piss.
Then it has 2 chances to get the bonus. If there's 4 mods, there's 4 chances to get the bonus. And the individual mods have higher chances where I believe like the more difficult ones, like for example if there's one that's similar to one of the old Pantheon mods that it does, like it evokes some, god who comes and smites you, for example, then it is significantly higher. There's a significantly higher special drop here, and what you find is when a monster has conversions of all of the really big monsters, it's a hard fight, that results in there being a very high chance of these special drops, which is potentially a conversion or potentially one of the other ones we haven't spoken about yet. And this results in a thing where you have a lot of incentive to fight rare monsters, a lot of incentive to fight hard rare monsters, but you don't feel that you can assess a monster beforehand and then try to min-max what your exact party can do.
Get ready for the next battle.
We've also tried to smooth this out a bit more, like the thing in the past where...
I don't know if I love that.
The right circumstances get dozens and dozens of divines from a monster.
It feels like that just creates a different problem where all you're gonna always want to do is have magic find on your end game character, and I don't know if that's tight. I'm not convinced.
A lot more variety too, it sounds like. Is this something you've
Personally
considered doing to map bosses as well? Like, map bosses have definitely gotten better over time in terms of reward and more interesting, which I like. But it still seems like, in a lot of cases, they could get a bit worse here.
It's worth looking into, yeah. We've been focusing...
That's how it was before. I don't know if it was. Not as bad as it's gotten. Because before there were no rares that had a bonus like this. They added that to the game.
Power washing videos and stuff like that.
See what I mean? Yeah, it was like that before, but they added Arch Nemesis, and Arch Nemesis has modifiers that give you bonuses. So it makes it more incentivized than before.
A lot of people in chat ask, how will Headhunter work in the monster mode?
There are way more mods now, and that means players that are getting a lot of mods how late previously I mean, there was some doubles there, but anyway, once you've got them all active, you can't get more, whereas here there are far more mods, and so you can far more mods. Having said that, that's what you asked us to do. Implicitly, like at the low end, Headhunter is less powerful, at the high end, Headhunter is more powerful. You pick which is this.
It's kind of a slower ramp up to it.
Headhunter, Val.
Immortalum asks, does that mean you're more fractured flask? Because of the blasting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the flask conversion is yeah, we'll fracture regular
KO.
Simple Cookie asks,
Round
will the Atlas
4.
passive that increased the amount of mods on rare monsters be added back to the new rare monsters?
I don't think it has been. Do you know that?
3 dev
We certainly
checks?
discussed it, but we wanted you to get a vanilla experience and all how many rare monsters is appropriate. An issue with feedback is if there are ways to juice it up, and people say
Mini-Me? Did you just call him Mini-Me?
So we'll consider it for the future, but
He does kind of have a Dr. Evil kind of thing going on, actually. I never really pieced that together.
we'll appreciate the changes, and then we can look at
That's pretty funny.
It's been a while. Recently you swapped kind of the Divine and Exalted around. Now that we've had a
Make Divine shiny, damn it!
various changes surrounding these high-end currencies, I'd like to run the goals.
Thanks, Gyaradex. Thanks, Sub-Zero.
Well, the goals were that exalts were used more for crafting.
Time up.
Taking an item and using the gold to get another mod.
You lose.
That's a lot more than it was before. Secondly, we wanted it to be harder to divine items. Not just because we're mean, but because it makes well-rolled uniques more valuable. Previously, because divines were really
but what about rares? Pendejo?
It meant that if you have a really rolled unique, it didn't really feel that special because someone can slam a few divines into it to get something like that. Now there is quite a wide variance of stuff. Like look at something like Brass Dome, for example. Where,
yeah.
You know, the worst versions of it are worth quite a lot less. Than
Worthless.
And that's more fun because then you find
more fun.
Better version.
This guy's tight.
Something that someone else has that's worth less, and you feel good about that.
That's more fun.
These goals were achieved,
Wink.
right? Like it certainly is harder to divine items. It is easier to exalt them. The economy survived. Life goes on. We'll continue to make broad changes whenever we feel like it that affect the economy. But it's sometimes good to just cause a bit of a shift and help people value
I just
items.
want
You don't get
divines to be
infringed values.
shiny.
You don't get people believing, oh, this
They're too
item is
dull
6x
and
forever.
sleeping
No,
face.
it changes because the game changes.
So for the standard players that are still coping with their stash full of exalts because they didn't convert them over in time,
Like seriously, like, oh, I had entirely all my money in Bitcoin and now it's worthless, right? Like diversify, right?
Damn!
Economics.
Crypto 100 air.
teaching multiple economics lessons today.
Architects will set you up for life. Have a diversified portfolio of currency items.
Okay.
It's really currency. Keep some rares, keep some crafting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta invest.
Funny,
in
this
some
guy's a
high-end
dick.
items, right?
Some old skin maps, maybe alternate art.
Oh yeah.
I found out. I have this red beak on my account from the early race seasons. Like I'm talking, I logged in to do races back in 2013 to literally test they were working and got an alternate art red beak, and now it's worth a mirror in standard.
Wait, is it? I'm pretty sure I have one of those.
Well, I mean that was with a quick search, but yeah. Look, invest in a variety of different items in your standard portfolio if you don't want to get wrecked.
Damn, diversify y'all bonds.
I'd be rich. So good. It's interesting to see some new Vase skills. It's certainly been a while. I tried to look up exactly when, and I think
Wu-Tang Financial
Incursion was the last time, which was get ready, 17 leagues ago. So powerful, longer cooldown or like ultimate skills make gameplay quite a bit more engaging, I think. And a lot of people love Vase skills for that reason. It's certainly an underutilized skill category, though, not something you add new skills to all the time. So how do you decide then whether to make a skill, a Vase skill, or just a regular skill that does a similar thing?
Well, if we're trying to come up with an ultimate skill, Val skills are ones that we have a control over you only using periodically, whereas regular skills, we generally don't put big cooldowns on them unless there's a bypassable thing. So if it's something where there's a good cooldown bypass mechanism, then it will probably be a regular skill. Now, the thing we're doing with Val skills here is we want to buff melee. There are a number of, like, you may be thinking, wow, that's a lot of changes to melee, or you may be thinking, where are all the melee changes, depending on whether you happen to notice stuff. But the changes to endgame unique weapons affect melee, the Val skill stuff affects melee in a way I'll discuss in a second. There's a bunch of other bits and pieces, like melee splash is being added to as a node on the passive tree.
Say word?
I'm not supposed to talk about the details because it's secret, but you'll find there's some totem mastery that affects melee in an interesting way. So there's a few bits and pieces that together actually do make quite a cohesive set of melee buffs. But the theory with the Val ones is we targeted a set of weaker melee skills, where previously, if the player is using that skill, they just do the damage they were doing. And rather than just saying, oh, we're going to give the skill a little bit more damage, which has various issues, we've created a Val version, which at face value means that every X attacks, you get to do a more powerful one, which is an indirect buff. But we've tried to design many of these Val skills so that they also directly buff the main version. Like Val Cleave is an example, where if you're using Val Cleave occasionally, your cleaves themselves are more powerful. And so it's doing a more powerful attack sometimes and increasing the power of your other attacks
like
at the time. And because of the change where using the Val gem gives you the regular version of the skill, then there's no excuse not to be using Val Cleave